All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back for our last 15 minutes of Dear for today, and then I'll play with this some more and hopefully get a better, more engaging reading for you tomorrow. But we just finished off. They were arguing over a Pop-Tart of all things, and all the friends are joking. You guys have issues, Luke says, hopping off the table. He picks at Haley's hair. I think all that blue dye or all that dye seeped into your brain. She swats at him as he leaves. She added blue streaks to her honey blonde hair and cut it shoulder length. In 5th grade, she trimmed it with some scissors during a math test because she felt like it. That was the moment I knew she didn't care about much. As you can see, it says different language. For those of you following at home, remember your pages are about 4 pages ahead of the page number here on the screen. So although we're at 52 in this edition, if you are lucky enough to have one of the books at home, know you're probably closer to 57 or so in your book. But we're again chapter 5, about 4 pages in. So I like the blue Hales, I say, and the cut. Yeah, Maya grins. It's very Joe Jonas of you. Haley whips her head around so fast, her eyes flashing. Maya and I snicker. So there's a video deep in the depths of YouTube of the 3 of us lip-syncing to the Jonas Brothers and pretending to play guitars and drums in Haley's bedroom. She decided she was Joe, I was Nick, and Maya was Kevin. I really wanted to be Joe. I secretly loved him the most. But Haley said she should have him, so I let her. I let her have her way a lot. I still do. That's part of being Williamson Starr, I guess. So she changes that code switching to fit in with her friends. And it seems like Haley seems to be the big mean girl or the head ringleader. I so have to find that video, Jess says. No, Haley goes, sliding off the tabletop. It must never be found. She sits across from us. Never. Never. If I remembered that account's password, I'd delete it. Oh, what was that account's name? Jess asks. Joe Bro Lover or something? Wait. No, Joe Bro Lova. Everybody liked to misspell stuff in middle school. I smirk and mumble. Close. Haley looks at me. Star? Maya and Britt crack up. It's moments like this that I feel normal at Williamson. Despite the guidelines I put on myself, I've still found my group, my table. Okay then, Haley says. I see how it is. Maya Jonas and Nick Starry Girl 2000. So Hales, I say before she can finish my old screen name. She grins. How was your spring break? Haley loses her grin and rolls her eyes. Oh, it was wonderful. Dad and stepmother, dearest, dragged me and Remy to the house in the Bahamas for some family bonding. Oh, sounds tough, doesn't it? And bam, that normal feeling, gone. I suddenly remember how different I am from most of the kids here. Nobody would have to drag me or my brothers to the Bahamas. We'd swim there if we could. For us, a family vacation is staying at a local hotel with a swimming pool for the weekend. Sounds like my parents, says Britt. Took us to Harry Potter World for the 3rd year in a row. I'm sick of butterbeer and corny family photos with wands. Who complains about going to the Harry Potter World or butterbeer or wands? I hope none of them ask about my spring break. They went to Taipei, the Bahamas, Harry Potter World. I stayed in the hood and saw a cop kill my friend. I guess the Bahamas wasn't so bad, Haley says. They wanted us to do family stuff, but we ended up doing our own thing the entire time. You mean you texted me the entire time, Maya says? It was still my own thing. All day, every day, Maya adds, ignoring the time difference. Even ignoring the time difference. Whatever, Shorty. You know you like talking to me. Oh, I say, that's cool. Really, though, it's not. Haley never texted me during spring break. She barely texts me at all lately, maybe once a week now, and it used to be every day. Something's changed between us, and neither one of us acknowledges it. We're normal when we're at Williamson, like now. Beyond here, though, we're no longer best friends. Just, I don't know. Plus, she unfollowed me on Tumblr. She has no clue that I know. I once posted a picture of Emmett Till. And if you haven't checked out who Emmett Till is at home, here's some research for you. Emmett Till. You have heard about Khalil and his problems and how he was displayed in the streets like an exhibit. We talked about that earlier in the story. So with your access to computer all the time and you're at home, spend some extra time researching Emmett Till. He's more than just this 14-year-old black boy who was murdered for whistling at a white woman in 1955. Think how times have changed. He was murdered for whistling at a white woman in 1955. His mutilated body didn't look human. Haley texted me immediately after, freaking out. I thought it was because she couldn't believe someone would do that to a kid. No, she couldn't believe I would reblog such an awful picture. Not long after that, she stopped liking and reblogging my other posts. I looked through my followers' lists. Hales was no longer following me. With me living 45 minutes away, Tumblr is supposed to be sacred ground where our friendship is cemented. Unfollowing me is the same as saying, I don't like you anymore. Maybe I'm being sensitive, or maybe things have changed. Maybe I've changed. For now, I guess we'll keep pretending everything is fine. The first bell rings. On Mondays, AP English is first for me. That's advanced placement English. Haley and Maya, we're all in it together. On the way, they get into a big discussion turned argument about NCAA brackets in the Final Four. As you know, with the latest coronavirus here in Michigan, we are, well, here in the US, are affecting the world. It's a world pandemic. All of these sports things that are being referenced have been canceled for this year. So it was a big deal to a lot of teens and a lot of people out there. But this year, unfortunately, here in real life, that's been canceled. But back in the story, that's all they're talking about. Haley was born a Notre Dame fan. Maya hates them almost unhealthily. I stay out of that discussion. The NBA is more my thing anyway. We turn down the hall and Chris, remember Chris is Starr's boyfriend, Caucasian boyfriend, and also remember Starr's been not replying to his messages lately. So he's wondering what's going on. So we turn down the hall and Chris is standing in the doorway of our class, his hands stuffed in pockets and a pair of headphones draped around his neck. He looks straight at me and stretches his arm across the doorway. Haley glances from him to me, back and forth, back and forth. Did something happen with you guys? My pursed lips probably give me away. Yeah, sort of. That douche, Haley says, reminding me why we're friends. She doesn't need details. If someone hurts me in any way, they're automatically on her hit list. It started in 5th grade. 2 years before Maya came along, we were those crybaby kids who bust out crying at the smallest thing. Me because of Natasha and Haley because she lost her mom to cancer. Well, those aren't really small things, but hey, we rode the waves of grief together. That's why this weirdness between us doesn't make sense. What do you want to do, Starr? She asks. I don't know. Before Khalil, I planned to cold shoulder Chris with a sting more powerful than a 90s R&B breakup song. But after Khalil, I'm more like a Taylor Swift song. No shade. I mess with Tay-Tay, but she doesn't serve like 90s R&B on the angry girlfriend scale. I'm not happy with Chris, yet I miss him. I miss us. I need him so much that I'm willing to forget what he did. That's scary too. Someone I've only been with for a year means that much to me. But Chris, he's different. You know what? I'll Beyonce him. Not as powerful as 90s R&B breakup song, but stronger than a Taylor Swift. Yeah, that'll work, I tell Haley and Maya. I'll handle him. They move so I'm between them like they're my bodyguards, and we go to the door together. Chris bows to us. Ladies, move, Maya orders. Funny considering how much Chris towers over her. He looks at me with those baby blues. He got a tan over break. I used to tell him he was so pale he looked like a marshmallow. He hated that I compared him to food. I told him that's what he got for calling me caramel. It shut him up. Darn it though, he's wearing the Space Jam 11s too. I forgot we decided to wear them the first day back, so they're wearing the same shoes. They look good on him. Jordans are my weakness. I can't help it. I just want to talk to my girl, he claims. I don't know who that is, I say, Beyonce-ing him like a pro. He sighs through his nose. Please, Starr, can we at least talk about it? I'm back to Taylor Swift because the please does it. I nod to Haley and Maya. You hurt me, or you hurt her and I'll kill you, Haley warns, and she and Maya go into class without me. Chris and I move away from the door. I lean against a locker and fold my arms. I'm listening, I say. A bass-heavy instrumental plays in the headphones, probably one of his beats, so one that he's made himself. I'm sorry for what happened. I should have talked to you first. I cock my head. We did talk about it a week before, remember? I know, and I heard you. I just wanted to be prepared in case you could push the right buttons and convince me to change my mind. No. His hands go up in surrender. Starr, you know I wouldn't. That's not. I'm sorry, okay? I took it too far. Understatement. The day before Big D's party, Chris and I were in Chris's ridiculously large room. The third floor of his parents' mansion is a suite for him, a perk of being the last born of empty nesters. So he's the last one at home, and the parents are spoiling him. I try to forget that he has an entire floor as big as my house and hired help that looks like me. So they have servants, people that wait on them that look like Starr. Fooling around isn't new for us, and when Chris slipped his hand in my shorts, I didn't think anything of it. Then he got me going, and I really wasn't thinking at all, for real. My thought process went out the door, and right as I was at that moment, he stopped, reached into his pocket, and pulled out a condom. He raised his eyebrows at me, silently asking for an invitation to go all the way. All I could think about was those girls I see walking around Garden Heights, babies propped on their hips, condom or no condom, life happens. I went off on Chris. He knew I wasn't ready for that. We already talked about it, and yet he had a condom. He said he wanted to be responsible, but if I said I'm not ready, I'm not ready. I left his house pissed and horny, the absolute worst way to leave. My mom may have been right, though. She once said that after you go there with a guy, it activates all these feelings, and you want to do it all the time. Chris and I went far enough that I noticed every single detail about his body now. His cute nostrils that flare when he sighs, his soft brown hair that my fingers love to explore, his gentle lips, and his tongue that wets them every so often, the 5 freckles on his neck that are in perfect spots for kissing. More than that, I remember the guy who spends almost every night on the phone with me talking about nothing and everything. The one who loves to make me smile. Yeah, he pisses me off sometimes, and I'm sure I piss him off, but we mean something. We actually mean a lot. And then, as you can see here, F-D, F, 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 I'm crumbling. So she's having a hard time. Chris. He goes for a low blow and beatboxes an all too familiar boom, boom, boom. I point at him, don't you dare. Now, this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down. And I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air. He beatboxes the instrumental and pops his chest and booty to the rhythm. People pass by us, laughing. A guy whistles suggestively. Someone shouts, shake that butt, Bryant. My smile grows before I can stop it. The Fresh Prince isn't just my show. It's our show. Sophomore year, he followed my Tumblr, and I followed him back. We knew of each other from school, but we didn't know each other. One Saturday, I reblogged a bunch of Fresh Prince's gifs and clips. He liked and reblogged every single one. That Monday morning in the cafeteria, he paid for my Pop-Tarts and grape juice and said, the first Aunt Viv was the best Aunt Viv. It was the beginning of us. This beginning will be where we stop for today. Thank you again for following along. For those of you who are reading at home, you are approximately 6 pages ahead, so you are probably on page 62. We will continue here together tomorrow. Feel free to read ahead on your own. You have links to all of the entire text for The Hate You Give in the messages that were sent to you on Hero. They're also posted in the Hero Lab projects for the love of reading and also your novel project. So guys, you've got all the tools you need. Thanks for joining us today. I will try and figure out how to get this going live. If you could send me a message, send me a message. How many of you would tune in for a live session at 11 o'clock, Monday to Thursday? If I get enough replies, I'll make sure that this is available for us live, and then I can post the link. But I need to make sure we've got at least 10 people tuning in. So anyways, there'll be links. We're stopping there. We've learned about how Chris and Starr got their start. Thanks for joining us. Take care. Bye-bye.